Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Blitz on live stream STL. We're live from Dugan Memorial Field in Herculaneum, Missouri, home to the Herculaneum Black Cats. They'll be taking on the Keaton Indians tonight in a Class 3 District 1 matchup. Ray Halbrook along with Brian Kaplinger and Mr. Tanner Hendrickson.
Yeah, on paper, this one looks like it's going to be close. I think we're going to see a lot of the same style. Both teams want to run the football in this one. Now, for Herculaneum, they didn't put up as many points so far with this style early in the regular season, but as we saw, Kenneth, they averaged 23 points per game, but they do allow a lot. So maybe we'll see if the Herculaneum offense can get things figured out here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to host when you get that chance. I think that's obviously a goal, is to host playoff games, you know, and get to play at home in front of your home crowd. I mean, it's always fun, and we've been fortunate to do that the past 2 years as well.
So fun one to watch.
As Ian McCoy, as you said, it's going to be a wet, slippery one. He slipped on the opening kickoff as here comes Keaton Indians as they run with it here. Breaking through a seam, and they've got a great return here to start this, lowering the shoulder and breaking them down. Running with it is Marquise Pittman. He is going to return the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and we said it might be even. Kenneth punches first as they lead 6-0 by returning the opening kickoff to the house. Now, Herculaneum lining up to potentially bring a blitz. They are going to hand this off. He's wrapped up inside the goal line, I believe. Is this going to be a safety? It is. The Herculaneum defense comes through with the safety there, and they are on the board here 6-2, and they're going to get the football right back. Push this one in. The snap, they're going to let Reeves try and sneak it in. They try to push him in. He's in. Touchdown for the Herculaneum Black Cats as the quarterback Reeves gets in, and Herculaneum's got the lead here, 8-6 with 4:09 to go in the first quarter. They send Waddell in motion. The snap, Reeves is going to carry it. Reeves is going to get a block on the left side. He lowers the shoulder to try and get in, spins off the defender, and it's the second rushing touchdown of the day for the quarterback, Keaton Reeves, and it extends the Herculaneum lead to 16-6 over the Keaton Indians. In an empty set as he takes the snap to get the hands to their playmaker. There goes Pittman around the right edge. He's going to pick up a block. He's going to find a seam. He's going to break free. It's now just a track meet down the field. He's at the 20. He's running out of gas, but he's going to find that extra oomph to get into the end zone, as it's a huge rushing play. The Keaton Indians needed that, as it's now 18-12 with 7:38 to go here in the first quarter. We thought we'd get a slugfest here by running the football in the wet, sloppy conditions out there on a kind of chilly night here in late October, and that's exactly what we got.
Yeah, and good news for both teams. You know, the little pop-up shower that we were talking about is kind of dissipated and is gone, and so it looks like it's going to be a clear night the rest of the way. But again, coming out in the second half, I don't think you change anything. You're going to continue to run the ball. You're going to continue, if you're Kenneth, to find Pittman. I mean, we keep saying his name, but that's the reason. And then on the flip side, you know, Herculaneum, maybe get that defense engaged a little bit more again, kind of get them excited, get in there, blitz a little bit. And then from that side, I think their offense has been great, right?
Reeves takes the snap, hands it off to Waddell. Waddell on the end around has got the edge. Waddell's going to pick up more than a first down. He's at the 30, 20, 10, 5. It's a touchdown. A 60-yard rushing touchdown for the wide receiver, Mac Waddell, and Herculaneum is going to increase their lead to 24-12 with 9:30 to go here in the third quarter.
His hands again.
Touchdown could potentially put this game out of reach. They snap it to Reeves. Reeves going to run around the right side, and he's in for his third rushing touchdown of the game with 6:42 to go. And Herculaneum may have put this game out of reach as they extend the lead to 30-12.
Just continue to be tough here.
Pittman takes the snap, runs left, dodges the tackler in the backfield, shakes off another, and he's into the end zone for his second rushing touchdown of the day as he cuts the lead down to 32-18 with 4:39 to go. He's running back Pittman in the backfield to help potentially block. High snap, Jones, he's going to air this one out deep down the field. Morrison's there, he leaps up, he makes the catch. Morrison's going to run into the end zone with 1:27 to go. They line up under center, just got to Do this one more time. They take a knee. They won't have to snap it again as the clock will run all the way down to 0, and Herculaneum is going to advance in the Class 3 District 1 playoffs as they have a date next Friday where they'll be taking on Central, as Central had a bye this week, and they are going to be awaiting Herculaneum coming to town next Friday after this 32-26 win.
Hey, we're here catching up with Coach Blane Boss from the Herculaneum Black Cats. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing pretty well. Yourself?
Yes, sir. We're doing well today, and I'm sure you guys are doing well. Big win over Kennett in the first round of the district's Class 3 District 1, 32-26. Let's talk a little bit about how that game went. You started out with a bunch of rain. Everybody was a little worried about the weather at first, and then things cleared up, and you guys used a lot of your defense to spur, basically to spark the offense. So take us through that a little bit there, Coach.
Yeah, it was. We came out to warm up. I think right around 6 o'clock. It kind of opened up and just started downpouring. So we just went inside and warmed up in the gym. I didn't think there's any sense of us getting soaking wet and then come out cold and wet. So we just went inside. And, luckily, it cleared up by game time. And I think right before the half, it kind of did the same thing. So after that, I think that was it. It actually ended up being a pretty nice night for football. But we opened the game. Very first kickoff, we gave them a touchdown. We kind of parted the seas a little bit, and we did something I didn't want us to do, is kick to their best athlete. And that kid was good all night. I mean, he was the best player we've seen all year, and we were fortunate enough to not let that affect us from the start. So we kind of let that go, forgot about it, and then just played football. I think a couple minutes later, we ended up getting a safety, got us on the board, and it kind of sparked us right there, and we kind of got going from there. But no, it was our kids did a pretty good job. I mean, they held on, did what they needed to do to finish the game, and it seemed like a game that wouldn't end. It was. I think there was 6-7 minutes left. We were up 32-12, and obviously just trying to get that clock to run and get out of there. So, they had some very explosive plays. I think that's how they scored most of the points, were long runs, or I think they had one long pass as well. But we did just enough to hang on and get the win.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the very, very first, play of the game was the kickoff, and the kickoff goes, basically the house about 90 yards or whatever. But you guys didn't let that bother you. You took that in stride, and what was it? Something that maybe you said, going, after that happened. Because something happened there, and it sparked your defense. Your defense pushed you guys back, pushed Kennett back into their end zone for a safety. And then you rattle off like 16, 18 points after that, for the rest of the first half. You got a great, showing out of Keaton Reeves, 3 touchdowns. He was 15-19 rushing as well. So 3 touchdowns. Luke Bryce had a great night. Mac Waddell, Anthony Galena, all those guys, the kind of the 4-headed monster. But what was said there, right there at that point, once they scored right off the bat?
Obviously, I was pretty upset at that point. So who knows what I said besides being upset. But no, I just told, hey, it's over with. Forget about it, and let's move on. That's all that was really said. And we got the ball on offense. I think we drove down a little bit. I can't remember the very first drive. I think we had a false start or something. I can't remember, but ended up having a punt. And we had a great punt that pinned them down on their 2-yard line, and that kind of set up the very next play. Luke Bryce was able to blitz through a gap. Coach Hunter sent him on a blitz and right to the play. So heck of a call and heck of a play by Luke. So, fortunately, we were able to hold them in there. And the ensuing free kick they had, they kind of just squibbed like an onside kick, and we had great field position from there. So that kind of started us. Anytime you get field position like that, it makes it so much easier on your offense. So that really helped us out. We went down and scored, and then I think we continued to play pretty decent defense. Besides their second touchdown, when I think they had about a 70-yard run. No, our kids played tough defensively, especially against some great athletes like Keaton had. Like I said, number 24 was a heck of a player. I mean, I'm sure he'll probably play college ball somewhere, but it took a little bit for our kids to adjust to that speed, but I think they did do a good job getting it figured out.
Absolutely. Containment was the key, definitely, in the 32-26 win over Kennett. You move on now here to Park Hill Central, the number 1 seed, and they've been having a pretty good season this year. And tell us a little bit what you think you can use to maybe counter it and maybe give them a game.
Again, it's going to be another showing of some good athletes. They got the Joe Bryant kid. I mean, he's pretty special. I think he had 30 touchdowns last year, and
wow.
He had to move to quarterback, I think, for a couple of weeks because their starting quarterback was out. But looks like to me they're pretty much back to full health, and obviously they went pretty deep in the playoffs last year. Lost to Cardinal Ritter, I believe, and I think they lost 1, maybe 2 people, so, that were big contributors. So they're going to be a handful. I know they're looking to go deep into the playoffs and make a run, and we're going to have to just do a good job of being great tacklers in space, mixing some things up and changing some things up on them defensively, and giving them different looks, and then offensively just sustain drives and we need to take care of the football, and we can't set our offense back with any penalties this week. That's just all there is to it. We can't be second long and third and long. It's just not going to be a good situation for us. So we have to be great on first and second down this week. That's for sure. But our kids, I know they'll look forward to the challenge, and we're excited about it.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate catching up with you, and good luck to you Friday.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coach Blane Boss from the Herculaneum Blackcats.
Friday Night Blitz on livestream STL South. Tonight we are live from Festus High School, home to the Festus Tigers. Our round 1 quarterfinal matchup tonight is between the Class 4 District 1 DeSoto Dragons, who come in at 1-8, and the Festus Tigers at 6-3. Matt Bates, Austin Bearden with you this evening. Do know that Hayden Bates was going to be a game time decision. Here's pressure being put on. Screen pass out to Yates. He cuts down low to the 20-15-10. 5, give him 6. 21-yard TD pass from Cunningham to Yates. 2 wide receivers split out down in front of us. 1 way up top. Inside handoff to Edwards. He goes in, and touchdown for the Festus Tigers. Give them another 6. A 1-yard dive by Avery Edwards makes the score 13-0 now.
Well, this is why he's out there, right? I mean, Cunningham's out there. They're probably already in the end zone. So this is learning opportunity.
Pulls that down, calls his own number, straight up to shoot, give him 6. With exactly 5 minutes left to go in quarter number 2, that is the Festus Tigers opening up a 20-0 lead. And there are Smith going to roll out the pass, being hounded, and that one just out of the reach of the fingertips of the defensive back for the Dragons, and that will fall in to the cradle of Deshaun Bridget, number 8, up top. That is a touchdown pass with a 35-point lead. So there is that. Cunningham's going to call his own number, and he's going to fall forward, and we will await the signal, and he is down at the 1-inch line. And now they're going to mark him in the end zone, so give him 6 on that one from 2 yards out with 3:01. Essien Smith going to call his own number, and he's going to just shoot right into the end zone on a 9-yard run. Essien Smith add another 6, make that 41-0. The season will come to an end for the DeSoto Dragons as they come up to Festus, and the Tigers shut them out 41-0.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Upon Further Review. Ray Halbrook here from Live Stream STL Media. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. This is our Week 10 matchups that we're going to work on here, and we'll be recapping those. We'll talk about Week 11, Week 2 of the districts, and then also crown not just one, but 2 Players of the Week this week, and some honorable mentions. And without further ado, we'll bring in our good friends, Matt Bates and Jeff Whitener. Matt, how you doing, my friend?
I am just living the dream. I am the creamy white stuff in this Jefferson County Oreo cookie that we have right here.
There you go. I like it. Jeffrey, how are you, sir?
Hi, I'll be referred to as Pamela Pumpkin today.
There you go. I like it. I like it. There you go. Good deal. Good deal. Without further ado, we're going to, Upon Further Reviews, Week 10 results. And it looks a little bit like this. Our game of the week here, Herculaneum 32 and Kennett 26. We have Festus 41, DeSoto nothing. Our live stream STL South week of the game, game of the week, I should say, blah blah blah, and St. Pius 33, Priory 14. And we're gonna get things started right away. We're gonna talk to Jeff on any of these games up here that we talked about so far.
Well, I tell you what, guys, as far as the Festus DeSoto game goes, kind of what we expected. 41-7 Festus at home as the second seed over the 7th seed. For me, in looking at the stats and going back and looking at the game, it was kind of a total team effort for Festus. Essien Smith was 88 yards, 7 carries, and 2 touchdowns, but everybody contributed in this game. They got a lot of guys in, and most importantly, I think they came out of this game in pretty good shape from a health standpoint, and I think that is the most important thing there. For the Kennett Herculaneum game, I'm going to send that over to the Herky alums to talk about that one a little bit. So, guys, what did you think?
Matt, take it away.
Well, starting with the St. Pius game, going to go back and then up. Justin Lane, the day he had versus Priory, he had one of my nominations for Player of the Week with the week he turned in. He's now 3rd in the area in rushing with over 1,500 yards, 2nd in the area in total yards. He had 11 tackles, 2 sacks. And on the other side of the ball, he's 6th in the area in total tackles, not just the county, but the area. And his 31 rushes, 386 yards, 4 TDs. Some would say don't know what you have to do in a bigger game to get your name in the hat. But Justin Lane, to me, this was – I know it's week 10, but to me this was his biggest coming out party of the year in a meaningful game and playing both sides of the ball the way he did. In the Herky game, you know what? This was – in my perspective, this was a total team effort that when you look up and down the ball, you look at the safety by Bryce, you look at special teams, the punt, not only just the punt inside the 1, but then you look at the special teams on the punt return where they took advantage of when the punter banged it into the back of one of his linemen, they get great field position. You look at the job by the 4 running backs for Herculaneum. 4 of them had over 50 yards apiece. Your leading receiver or your leading running back, Mac Waddell, had 7 carries for 70 plus yards. He caught the only pass, and he led the team in defense with 4 combined tackles. So when you look at the return job by Anthony Galena and you go on up and down the lineup, I'll let Mr. Ray finish it. But I think if you were to hand out a trophy for that game as well. And I agree with Jeff about the Festus game. You could have just given it to the team for a whole team effort. That's what it took to move on in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, the big key part about that Herky game definitely was the situation. You know, they gave up a on opening kickoff for a touchdown. They could have easily said, okay, wow, this is going to be a long night, but ended up being just kind of they let it kind of rolled off like the duck's back and said, you know what, we're gonna move on, and we're going to not let that bother us. They went 3 and out the first time around, but once they kicked off or punted back to Kennett, they were able to get them kind of pinned back, got that safety, and I think that defensive safety was huge. Brought a lot of the morale back, and a lot of that momentum. Jeff?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to jump in there. Yeah, and talking about that game, I absolutely agree with both you guys. Yeah, shout out to Herky offense. The Herky offense as a unit were sort of my honorable mention nominees for the week. And just to jump back in, Matt, what you were talking about, Justin Lane coming out party for St. Pius, that 386 yards sets a single game record for St. Pius High School in a game, and then his new season total of over 1,500 yards rushing sets a season record for the St. Pius Lancers. So, yeah, he's built quite a resume this year.
And Jeff, and I know, and Ray brought that point up too, but, when that opening kickoff, I mean, when you're padded up and you're out there ready to put a banging on somebody, and that other team takes that opening kickoff and just takes it to the house on you, that could have easily deflated the Herculaneum balloon, in my opinion. And I think the resiliency by Herky did not let that affect them. Showed, I think, really a lot of character as they get ready to head in to face a tough Park Hills team. But Ray, I wanted to ask you that there's not many fields that are left that are all grass anymore.
Yeah.
Do you think some of that had a play in with Kennett? Because I've seen them slipping and sliding a number of times where normally whenever we're doing a game, say over at Festus, Windsor, you see the turf monster come up.
Right.
But it almost seemed like the some of the running backs, some of the wide receivers for Kennett weren't accustomed to playing on the actual natural grass. Do you think that had an impact?
I mean, it could have been, to me, the big stickler was, it was really dry. It's been really dry, the last couple months here. So, we did get a pretty good downpour there for probably about 20 minutes before the game started. And it kind of ensued a little bit even into the first quarter. But, I didn't see any puddles. I didn't see anything puddle up like that, but I mean, both teams had to play on that particular surface. So, I mean, it's,
Well, and I only say that because those natural fields or those artificial fields that we have now, you're talking like playing on a sheet of drywall.
Right.
Where that natural surface, maybe not seeing the puddles, but you've got the dips and the valleys, the peaks, that even though there may not be any puddling, you're coming across the field, all of a sudden the ground starts doing this on you a little thing, but it was just something to note because, obviously if you've played at Herky, you're accustomed to it.
Sure.
You know where all those little secret dips are at. But if you're not accustomed to playing on, that, I don't know. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, they only get that for one more season because they're going to turf here either next year or the next. So, I mean, that'll be a thing of the past down the road here. So,
yeah.
It's now time for our Upon Further Review Player of the Week. Our co-player is Keaton Reeves from the Herculaneum Black Hats. Keaton, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. Hey, big win there, 32-26 over Kennett Friday night. We were out there and just about everything happened. We had a great big monsoon rain about 15-20 minutes before the game starts. Kind of continued to rain throughout the first part of the game, and then some fireworks go off early. You guys give up, unfortunately, a long kickoff to start the game off for a touchdown to Kennett. But you guys persevered. You guys didn't freak out or anything like that. But was able to get a safety on the next time that they got the ball, and your defense kind of helped you say, hey, this is early, but we're still in this thing. Turned off a couple, three more touchdowns, within that first half. Did a heck of a lot, to keep Kennett off the board. So just popping a few things here. You were 15 rushes for 59 yards, 3 touchdowns. You had a lot of help from your friends like Luke Bryce, Anthony Galena, Mac Waddell, and others, and the defense. But take us through the game. Your thoughts on Friday night's football game.
Well, you give up the first play of the game, that kickoff return. We were like, we want to come back strong, didn't want to we want to set the tone after that, show us that we're in this game, that we had a chance to win it, Safety really gave us a lot of momentum, and we kind of took that offense we've been clicking all week at practice, and that showed during the game. We just kept marching the ball, doing what we're doing. We weren't making as many mistakes that we made in the past, and I think it showed during the game, 32 points is second most we've had all year.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're a sophomore, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Sophomore coming back from being injured early on, and we'll talk a little bit about the injuries here. Man, you guys were majorly snake bit throughout, especially the first part of the season here. Starting to get some of your guys back, and really kind of is a testament of what could have been, early on, even though the injuries happened. But you guys have really turned out some pretty good games especially the last couple weeks here. Eking out one against Crystal City, which Crystal City's they've been flying high, playing a lot of great football. But then to actually give them a shutout, and on the last play of the game, you chuck up the pass there, and that you win on the last play. 1.6 seconds I heard was left on that, but. Very cool. But take us through the injuries are, it's tough, but what is it, what's everything been like over there in the locker room, talking to your players and friends that, have dealt with these injuries, but, are, some of them are on the backside of that.
I think almost half of the starters, at least, maybe more, have all been injured at some point, missed a game. And the fact that we're all coming through it and we're all starting to get healthy at the right time is really good. And when it matters most, which is playoffs, is when we're all coming back. So there's a couple players we won't get back, but we've been working hard at practice, so we're trying to fill in for them,
And it's a good thing you're still working hard to practice. Still got some more games to play here. You've got the Park Hills Central Rebels coming up. Park Hills, they're the number 1 seed in your district. Going to be a tough one, but what has Coach Bossman talked to you guys about this week about possibly putting together a game plan to knock off the number 1 seed?
Yeah, if we do our jobs, we can beat anybody, like number 11's their best guy. We contain him. Don't let him outrun us. Do our jobs, make tackles, wrap up, hit low. We can beat anybody we put the only people stopping us is ourselves.
I like that. I like that philosophy, and there's a lot of truth to that. There, you just don't want to beat yourself, and if you do that, that's usually it makes it a lot harder in the long run here. But hey, we appreciate catching up with you. Congratulations on Player of the Week this week, and good luck this week at Park Hills.
Thank you.
That's Keaton Reeves from the Herculaneum Blackcats. Let's move on. We'll take a look at DeBerg 42, Bayless 6, Union 48, Windsor 13, Sykeston 36, Perryville 14. We'll start with Matthew this time.
Well, when you look up and down and you look at really all of the games this week, there was only just a handful that were decided by, say, 19 points or less. And to me, though, if the one game I want to talk about is the DeBerg Bayless game. Yes, it was 42-6, and the last 2 times here, now that they've played Bayless, that they've beat them by a combined score of like 84-12 or something ridiculous like that. But here's the thing to me, what this did, these last 2 weeks have helped solidify, I think, Jack Masters getting comfortable back in his own skin again. Where when you look at what he has done here, yes, DeBerg was up 35-6 at the half. They got the running clock, all that good stuff. But you look at Keenan Thomas again. He only had 5 catches on the day, but he racked off 153 yards, 2 TDs. Masters, these last, this last game, 12 of 15, 302, 3 TDs, 2 passing, 1 rushing. He's now 7th in the area in total passing yards. And these last 2 games against Bayless, he's completed at a 76% clip, 26 of 35, 572 yards. But the biggest thing that jumps off to me on that is the 8 TDs, no interceptions. And to me, that's the scary proposition going forward with this DeBerg team. One, as we always talk about, the line continuity. But then I think, two, if you can get Masters to cut down on the happy feet, and if that line blocks for him, I think the sky could theoretically be the limit, because can't recall the last time you talked about a Bishop DeBerg team that not only had 5 wins, but they're 5-5, and they've got full steam ahead right now, Jeff.
Well, and I agree with that assessment, and it's fun to watch that team. It's just fun sitting from where we're at, guys, the last couple of years, seeing that team develop, come together. You've got the kids from Hancock coming over, combining with the kids from DeBerg, starting to mesh and bond together, work as a team. It's just fun to watch, and they're a fun team to watch, fun to be around, and that's why we follow their story. It's kind of a Cinderella story. And next week they will have a really big challenge ahead of them at St. Clair. But one of the games I wanted to talk about this week is simple. The number 6 seed Sikeston going into Perryville, the 3 seed, and whipping them 33-14. Now, what the heck happened to Perryville is what I would like to know in that game. Obviously, Perryville, one of the schools that doesn't provide stats, which is a shame, because obviously we would like to highlight their athletes and their accolades. But if anybody knows out there, please leave something in the comments that why Perryville didn't have an answer for the number 16 Sikeston, who had only previously won 1 game all season long.
I was just going to ask you about that too, Jeff. I mean, what sucked the wind out of the Pirates' ship sails down there? That's a question for the ages. But yeah, Sikeston apparently, they pulled no punches going on the road and laid one on Perryville. I mean, well done by the Bulldogs.
Absolutely. Moving on. Here we go. North County 35, Potosi nothing. St. Mary's 37, Fox 12, and a big goose egg given to Parkway South by Eureka by the score of 52-0. Jeff.
We could probably knock down the other 2 as well too, Ray.
Yeah, let's go ahead and knock them all down. I like good idea.
Mean,
yeah. Oakville 56, Northwest 14, Live for Life 50, Grandview nothing. We'll start with Jeff.
Well, just going down the list here and looking at these games, guys, I was surprised that Fox didn't give St. Mary's a little better battle there. Aiden Smith, he did his normal Aiden Smith thing, 14 rushes, 134 yards. He was one of my honorable mentions this week, as he has been just almost every single week this season. But St. Mary's coming in only 1-7, but obviously they still retain a lot of team speed. And I was disappointed that Fox couldn't pull that one out at home, because I think that was a game that could be had. The rest of these games, Eureka over Parkway South, that's a 2-7. That is something that is expected. But the interesting thing in that game, only 266 yards of total offense for Eureka, but they scored 52 points.
Wow.
Now they had 1 pick six and 1 scoop and score, but yeah, you have to think of maybe there were more turnovers, more penalties in that game for them to be able to put up 52 with only 266 yards. If you look at Live for Life over Grandview, that was to be expected. Playing Live for Life, playing at home, even though it's not their home field. But just wanted to shout out Nashmore for a great career there at Grandview. He certainly was the heart and soul of that team for a few years there. North County over Potosi. Surprised Potosi didn't put up a better fight against North County. North County's kind of getting some momentum here at the end of the season, but they'll have a big test next week against Festus. Oakville over Northwest. To be expected, of course, but man, the Ethan Venable show. I mean, it's just the more the season has gone on, the more that Ethan Venable has been on our radar, and he was last year as well. the more we see what kind of complete player he is, guys. And I continue to be impressed by him. 16 rushes, 172 yards, one catch for 53 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then, oh, yeah, by the way, 9 solo tackles, 5 quarterback sacks, 1 deflected punt. But also in that game, the quarterback, Bradley, 9 for 10 passing. So just a total domination there for the Tigers over Northwest.
Jeff, looking at those stats, really just hearing those stats really sounded very Tommy Gabarish on the Seckman side of the ball. That, when you listen to that, when you hear about the rushing yards and then you hear of just like a 9 for 10 passing.
It is now time for our Upon Further Review Player of the Week, and we have co-players this week. We've got Ethan Venable today here with us from the Oakville Tigers. How you doing, Ethan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very, very good. Hey, big win over Northwest. My goodness, 56-14. You had one heck of a day at the office there. 16 carries, 172 yards, 1 catch for 53 yards, 3 touchdowns, 9 solo tackles. You play on both sides of the ball there. Solo tackles, 7 of those 9 for a loss, 5 sacks, and 1 deflected punt. You probably took everybody out for a little pizza afterwards too, because you're that kind of guy. But man, big game, Friday night, and take us through the game a little bit and your thoughts on how you fared with the Northwest Lions.
Well, with Northwest, we already played them before, so we just knew that we couldn't come in being a little lackadaisical. We knew we had to come in, we had to be mean, we couldn't give them a chance because it's playoff football now. Any mistakes, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna get taken out of the season, and you never want your season to end because you just weren't prepared. So we came in, we knew we had to be mean, and we just kept constant pressure until eventually we just broke them.
That's sometimes how it works, and we've seen you guys a couple times this year already, off and on, and there are games where you guys just have the game plan down to a T. We've already seen you play Seckman. We'll talk about the Seckman game once. Got that crazy rain at the beginning of the game, and you guys kind of held them at bay. But we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But let's talk a little bit about the team. Right now they're 6-4. You guys are 6-4. What's been kind of the vibe or the buzz right now? Now that you've gotten 1 win out of the playoffs, going into next week here.
Well, we've always just been, Coach Gend he's always focused. Like, you got to stay focused. Like, you can tell the weeks we aren't because we'll come out and you can see it on the field. This has been a week we've been waiting for ever since we lost. We've been looking at this for we need to get back there. We've wanted to get this back, and we've been wanting to get our get back, basically.
Yeah, I get it. And, you do come in. We're going to talk here now about the Seckman game here. You guys, like I said, first half of that particular game, that was only 3 weeks ago. You guys kind of held them at bay. Things are looking like, okay, man, this could end up being a pretty good, knockdown game. And then second half just kind of slipped away. But, I think you guys learned a little bit of it. I was talking a little bit to Coach afterwards. We've got some things that we need to change and, be able to, adjust with. So what has Coach been talking about this week as far as the game plan going in this week against Seckman?
Just got to be mean. Stay mean. Last game, we let it slip away a little bit with turnovers, really costly turnovers that were straight points immediately. So we know we have to be mistake-free this week. They're a really good team on defense. They're a team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, so we have to keep ours to a minimum to get ourselves in position to win.
Awesome. Well, man, we appreciate the time catching up with you here, and good luck to you this week. We're actually going to be out there at your game this week, and hope to see you and hope to see you guys fare well there against Seckman.
Thank you.
That's Ethan Venable from the Oakville Tigers.
I really think this next week's game for Oakville to play Seckman one more time is really going to match up well. That first quarter, Oakville hung with them, took some punches. This game against St. Mary's, you're right, Jeff. I mean, I thought they would have given them more of a fight, but that schedule that St. Mary's has played, really, again, that's why I thought that Pius Priory game was going to be a little more than what it was given Priory's scheduling. But you look at Oakville and you look at Ethan Venable, and I think we had just talked about that last week as well, too. When you get to that big boy level of football at that Class 5, Class 6, you don't see many people imposing their will on both sides of the ball. And if you do, you have to be a pretty special player. And, with Mr. Venable getting an offer from Wyoming, I think that helps solidifies, that exclamation point and the bow on that package.
Hey, Ray Halbrook here with Upon Further Review. We have a special going on right now. It's a special giveaway that we're going to do right now. If you can like, share, and follow Livestream STL right now, and then post in the comments on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, post in the comments your favorite appetizer from Texas Roadhouse, and we're going to give you not one, not two, but 3 free appetizer coupons, and we'll mail those to you. So do that right now.
Ruther Ford is the place to shop for your next vehicle. We have a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, and they're all priced to sell. Not in the market for a new car? We have a great service staff that can keep your car in top shape. Also, be sure to check out our parts department for your next car project. Once again, we're Ruther Ford off I-55, the Herculean Auto Mall.
Ruther.com.
The Breeze Dental Care Team consists of dedicated individuals who are caring, kind, and friendly. Our staff is here to ensure a pleasant experience during your visit to our office. Our team includes experienced and energetic people whose goal it is to communicate well with our patients and provide the best care possible. Providing preventative, restorative, and cosmetic care. Schedule a visit by calling 636-937-3030 or find us on the web at breezedentalcare.com.
The House Bar and Grill at your Festus Pasta House is your place to watch all local high school sports live. That's right, I said live. Come in and enjoy all local high school sports brought to you live on our 5 big screen TVs from Livestream STL. Also enjoy our happy hour menu, which includes half-price pizzas, discounted appetizers, and drink specials. We are the best place to gather for your local high school sports, brought to you by Livestream STL at your Festus Pasta House on Highway A, where it's always a great time.
Hey, y'all, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks. Thanks for watching the games today. We appreciate all your business all year long. Don't forget, we've got awesome wings, we got amazing burgers, we got salads like you wouldn't believe. Come check us out. We have barbecue on Thursdays, we have Southern Nights on Wednesdays, we've got bingo on Tuesdays. We can't wait to see you all. Thanks a bunch, and we look forward to having a great summer with y'all.
It's now time for our honorable mention segment here, and our honorable mentions this week, week 10. St. Pius's Justin Lane, 31 rushes, 386 yards, 4 touchdowns, 11 tackles, one of those for a loss, and 1 sack. For Bishop DeBerg, we got the two-headed monster there, Jack Masters, 12 for 15 passing, 302 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Keenan Thomas, 5 receptions, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns in their dominant win over Bayless. And then I'm going to turn this over to Matt on the senior spotlight. He was talking about some doing a kind of a segment within a segment here with some of our senior spotlights. So, Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
Well, as we all know, once you get to this part of the season, it is, winner moves on, loser goes home, which means for some of these all these seniors, it's your last game. It's the last time you've put the pads on. And there's some guys from some teams, as we've mentioned, Aiden Smith from Fox, I think has been an honorable mention. I think virtually almost every other week, and has never been able to get his name up there to the player of the week. And I wanted to give a shout out to him for someone who's, right on the fringes of our, viewing area that, all season I've been complimenting the young man on what he's done at a program that, wins have been tough to come by. also in the same vein, Colin Carter for Windsor. You talk about a guy that has dominated one side of the ball but can also play on the other. I mean, in his loss here, he had 3 carries for 43 yards, had 5 tackles. But I think to me, the thing that stands out is that he had another pick six, and the young man has scored 3 defensive TDs on the season. 2 of them in one of the games that I had covered for Livestream STL. So to see the young man, and I know AJ Patrick is on there as well, Stephen Wolf, but to me it was watching Colin Carter, both sides of the ball, and special teams as well too, for that program at Windsor. That once again, when you never know when the last time you're going to pad up is going to be, and and Nashmore over at Grandview, and I'll set that up for Mr. Jeff to give some accolades to Mr. Nashmore. But you talk about a young man put together like a brick house, and very personable, very underrated. But I wanted to give another shout out to Nashmore as well, Jeff.
Well, Matt Nashmore is cut in the same mold as we saw last season. A Sean Ussery at R7, a Mikey Maloney at Herculaneum. Those guys are the guys that I like to refer to as hammers. They are guys that welcome contact when they are running the ball. In fact, they seek it out. and they like to they would rather run through people or over people than run around them, although they do have the ability. Nash is one of those guys, and just as a character guy, he has really given his blood, sweat, and tears to that program for the past 4 years, and he has had a major contribution in all 4 of those years, even as a freshman. So shout out to Mr. Moore and continued success as he moves on. One thing, real quick, Matt, I want to talk about, you are an old O-lineman. I'm an O lineman. When we put together these stats every week for Player of the Week, honorable mention, we cannot physically go back and watch every single game and grade out every single lineman, offense or defense. Stats really aren't available. It's very difficult to quantify unless you study the game film intently just how good the linemen are. We know they're critical to the success of a team, but they never get a shout out. So I want to, and that's what it's not what it's about. When you're an O-lineman, you're not going to get the accolades. You're playing a team sport. Same way on defense. But I want to give a shout out to those guys in the trenches because, they rarely make it to an honorable mention or a Player of the Week unless it's a team goal accolade. So shout out to those guys that have been toiling in the trenches all season long.
Well said, Mr. Jeff. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, totally. Yeah, kudos to the offensive, defensive linemen. Trust me, hitting those dummies every day. I'm talking the tackling dummies, not the running backs and the other players specifically. But I mean those 2-a-days, all of the meetings, everything else. That, yeah, I can't begin to tell you how much those big beefcakes go through on a weekly basis. Just well done, guys.
It's now time to take a look at our Week 11 schedules here. You're starting to see some thinning of some teams here, but we'll quickly go through these. You guys just pick off what games that intrigue you the most, gentlemen. Our live stream STL Game of the Week, St. Pius X at Jefferson. Our live stream STL South Game of the Week, Oakville at Seckman. DeBerg is going to travel to St. Clair. Sykeston is at Festus. North County is at Hillsboro. Ladue is at Eureka. Herculaneum travels to Park Hill Central. Russellville is at St. Vincent, and Harrisburg is at Crystal City. Let's start with Matt.
Well, your team's going to be overdoing the Pius R7 game. I think that is going to show what the time off has done to Jefferson R7. Will the layoff help recoup wounds, or will that stagnate the team even more? When you've had about 2 weeks off, it's really tough to get the juices cranked back up again. And Pius, it's not like they've got a real long trip to get to Jefferson's high school. So, it's basically that's just like taking a lunch break when you're at school. just to drive home for lunch. So DeBerg, this one kind of scares me from the Bishop DeBerg side because they don't travel well. And this long road to St. Clair, I've just got that one highlighted because I want to see how they travel, how they perform. Sykeston at Festus, this is going to be a nice punch in the face for both teams. North County at Hillsboro. Hillsboro, once again, having that bye week and having done the North County Windsor game, don't sleep on their quarterback, Henry Alsbach, and their running back, linebacker, Aaron Cook. They have two defensive linemen or linebackers, Sherfus brothers, Xavier and Jackson. So North County, and plus having, played this past week, so they've got the motor running. They make the trip to Hillsboro. And really, the last one I have is Herky at Park Hills Central. Joe Bryant, somebody that we haven't talked a whole heck of a lot about, but when you look at the stats for them down there at Park Hills, I mean, not only do you have Smith that's rushed for over 1,000 yards, but him and the other quarterback down there, rarely do you see two quarterbacks that have both tossed 100 passing attempts and have both cleared over 1,200 yards a pop. So this could get ugly if Herky doesn't travel well and has to put a hat on Joe Bryant, I'm sorry.
Jeff.
Well, Joe Bryant, just to follow up on that, is one heck of an athlete, a great basketball player. He'll probably play basketball moving on at the collegiate level, and more power to him. He's a special kid. The three games that I have highlighted this week, guys, well, two of them right off the bat are both of our live stream game of the weeks. I think those are two of the very best matchups in the area. St. Pius at Jefferson. Okay. Jefferson beat St. Pius 28-18, I believe it was, in week 4. They go into St. Pius, they get the victory. Since that game, Jefferson had to go through some injuries. They stumbled here in the last couple of weeks at the regular season. 7-2 overall record. Matt, you hit on some points there. They're getting guys back. They're getting healthy. That week off helped with the week bye. However, getting back to that game momentum, that game pace, speed. Yep. That's going to be the hardest thing to overcome, and for Jefferson, even though they're playing at home. St. Pius right now playing with all the confidence, all the momentum in the world. This game is going to be trouble for Jefferson, quite frankly. St. Pius, the old adage, it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. R7's going to have their handful with a very good, very hot St. Pius team. Now, Oakville at Seckman, as we saw a couple weeks ago, guys, Oakville gave Seckman probably one of their best tests all year. And if it weren't for a few turnovers in that game and some special plays by the Seckman defense, things might have gone differently. So I'm really excited to see how that works. And here again, will that week bye, will that affect Tommy Gabar and the Seckman offense in any way? The third game I have circled this week is Ladue at Eureka. Eureka at home, the number 2 seed against Ladue. They were able to beat Ladue here a few weeks ago. Ladue, the 3 seed. But I think that's going to be another very, very close game to watch. And those are the 3 I have highlighted. We're getting to the point now, as you said, Ray, we're starting to thin the herd out a little bit, separate the wheat from the chaff. Any cliche that you want to use, but it's win or go home. And as you'll see in my preview this week, it's Survivor District Playoff Island.
Wow, there you go.
Outwit, outplay, outlast.
He's teasing already for the previews this weekend here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there you have it. I guess we'll be back next week and have a little bit less amount of teams and be talking a lot about some of the more elite-looking teams. Moving
cut in
forward.
half.
It sure does. It gets cut in half here, but we'll wrap things up here. Thanks again for being a part of Upon Further Review. You all have coffee cups, so I'm gonna put my fake coffee cup up here right now. It's probably full of chocolate milk right now, but that's all right. So there you go. For all of us here, live stream STL, and Upon Further Review, Matt Bates, Jeff Whitener, Ray Halbrook, all of us here, live stream STL. Thanks so much for being here on Upon Further Review.